is that Rubik would have so many more good things to steal. Like, even stealing time-lapse isn't too bad. Obviously, your number one prize is Shikuchi. You can already steal Queen Blink, and you can also steal Dazzle spells, which are all fairly good. So I think part of the reason why the AM kind of backfired in the first game is because it gave Rubik a lot more mobility, and I think that's kind of what the Weaver would do for Na'Vi. Not to say that it wouldn't work, because in a late game, if he manages to pick up BKB, he becomes a nightmare because you can't lock him down. So it could work, but I think during the mid game, it might not be the best overall pick. And he's still pretty strong in lane, so it is a possibility for Na'Vi to take it here. But VP, of course, they're going to get their last pick going right now, and they've banned out the Slardar, so they are thinking along the lines of you were, that the Queen of Pain, he is going to be played most likely by Funnick.
Indeed. So with the Tusk picked up from VP as well, we can expect it to be the support Tusk, as it was Lil who I believe who played it the other day, so it will definitely be the solo lane center, and they themselves looking towards potentially mid, potentially the safe lane. You know, they can swap the Lesh around, and it's going to be the Silencer, and I'd imagine it was Illidan who played Silencer yesterday, wasn't
it? Yes, it was definitely Illidan, and I like this draft a lot more with the Silencer because you have a hard initiate, right? Actually, you have two. You have Tusk and you have Centaur. So we spoke about it a little bit, Sendrid and I, when we were casting the Winter Bracket Finals, is when you have Silencer on your team, you really want a way to force the engagement so hard that the enemy team just cannot run. And I think Centaur and Tusk kind of gives you that, right? So you pop the global, or you go in with Stampede, and then you global, and you pretty much force kills in the time that that silence is down. And also kind of hard counter Shadow Demon and what he's able to do. Because normally Shadow Demon can always stand in the back and make sure that he gets a disruption off, but global applies to everyone, period. And if you don't have Yules, or you don't have a way of dispelling, you pretty much just have to watch one of your cores die. And the same thing can be said for Dazzle. So these two uber defensive supports coming out from Na'Vi, if the global with a Stampede are timed correctly, these team fights could go very, very one-sided in favor of VP.
Okay, and there we go, the final pickup. It's going to be the Juggernaut they opt for on the side of Na'Vi. So it will be the Funnick on the quap. He's going to be mounting up that solo lane. The question is, with the Dazzle, SD, and Juggernaut, are they going to look to try and go aggressive against VP?
They could, but the problem with that is you have two defensive supports and no real way of reaching the farming hero of VP's lane. So it's going to be Silencer, probably farming in the safe lane with FNG and Lil support, so Tusk Rubik. It's not a crazy strong lane, but it's also very hard for Na'Vi to engage into that. You're essentially hoping that you somehow get in range for a disruption, and then you can go for a Shadow Wave onto a spin. That would likely be a kill, but I don't think Illidan would ever be that far out of position. I think it's much more likely that even with those two heroes, you might have better success even just roaming. Like, you can focus G mid. We know that Na'Vi loves to do that. Every single time these two teams have clashed so far at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague, they pretty much camp G. They just sit mid. They're like, yep, we don't want you to have a good game, and then G still has a good game.
Which is a pretty wise thing to do, because G, he can be an absolute nightmare to play against. And we've seen even in games where he's been crushed in the early game, he's just able to find that recovery farmer and come back at full force indeed. And we were just having a quick reconnect there, but we should be able to get ourselves underway here for game 2. Now, looking at the drafts compared to what we saw from the teams in the first game, do you feel this is kind of like a safer game for Na'Vi in the sense that there's less room for error and both teams have their strengths in the early game and mid game?
I think the draft is a bit more even when it comes to their timings. I do think that VP are going to have the advantage in fights, though. Like 5 versus 5, VP hands down have a better team. Like Global Silence, Stampede, those two abilities at your disposal automatically mean that you can take a fight on your terms anytime. So that is a little bit scary if I'm Na'Vi. But if your supports start getting some items up, you have very good defensive mechanisms. You got Grave, you have Weave, and you have Shadow Demon. So you can do a lot with that kind of utility. And I think their lanes are not too bad. You're going to have Dendi SF, and then you're going to have Funnick Queen, so those heroes, very good laners in their own right. Just depends on, I guess, how the early game goes for Na'Vi. I think that's going to be more indicative of how this game goes than maybe even the previous game.
Indeed, and we're seeing straight off Na'Vi sending the full force wrapping round through the Radiant jungle. But VP, they are towards the top, and the question is, are they going to stick there and make a movement across? It looks like both teams are going to be kept to themselves and will just secure the respective runes. I mean, yeah, you're talking about the lanes in the terms of the crop and the Shadow Feet. Do you feel overall then the lanes are stronger for the side of Na'Vi?
It's kind of... It's like flipping a coin, right? Because if Dendi gets ganked, then the mid wins. Like the Leshrac versus Shadow Fiend matchup, if the SF dies like once and G gets ahead, G's going to smash that lane. And that's kind of a concern, because you do have a hero on the side of VP that can really force it early, which is having a snowball into a lift. And he's also started boots, so he knows that he wants to try to be active in the laning phase early on. And I think if that happens, Na'Vi could be in a lot of trouble, and they might even just go as far as to sit somebody behind Dendi mid to ensure that he doesn't have that happen. And it looks like Seneko is going to be that guy.
And indeed, and lane-wise, it looks like both sides... Well, it looks like the side of Na'Vi, they are going to decide to run it aggressive. You know, looking to go against what's going to be the solo safe lane Centaur. So both teams applying some aggressive pressure here on the off lane. Now, is this the plan that Na'Vi were looking for? Were they expecting the solo lane Centaur, or do you think they felt that they could meet Illidan on the bottom lane?
I don't think you want to go up against a silencer. I think they were anticipating aggressive lanes and just dodged. I think that's much more likely for them, because if you're a melee hero farming against an orb-walking core, that's not good. You don't want to do that. He would probably just be forced to spin based on taking damage, and that is the least ideal way to use spin. You always want to use it to try to deal damage, and if he spins once, no mana regeneration items, he's going to be out of mana for quite a while, so it's not really a great matchup for him. But with that said, both the solo laners, DK Phobos and Funnick, should be able to get a decent amount out of their respective lanes. I don't think they'll kill the Centaur unless he gets really far out of position, and Funnick can just blink away.
Mid lane, we're actually seeing a support from both sides, kind of focusing to helping out, respectively, both the Shadow Fiend and the Leshrac on the side of VP. But at the moment, he's just going in, trying to fend off this Shadow Fiend. In terms of farm as well, Leshrac, he's found a good start to lane, but pretty much, especially with G on the Lesh, this is kind of what we expect in the mid lane matchup, especially before Dandy's able to get those levels and get the raise up.
The guy just doesn't miss last hits. Like, he's 9-3 right now, so... He is an absolute beast when it comes to that. Gonna see disruption here in the top lane.
Yeah, top lane Funnick maybe thinking of trying to go in, but he's actually going to go down there as Illidan there being able to burst him. So Nako's going to look for the return kill, will be able to find out F&G, but this might actually be a double kill for Illidan. He's going to go in, there's going to be the Shallow Grave from Artstyle, buying Seneko some time. He's trying to juke it down the tree line, but I think Illidan might find this. Seneko's trying to eat round, but he's not going to make the heal's going to buy him some time, but Illidan will find the kill, so he's going to be involved in 2 kills already. Funnick will blink in time to be able to pick off the silencer, but well, a lot of action going on there. And at the same time, mid lane, Leshrac finds a kill onto Dendi.
That's what happens when you leave your Shadow Fiend alone, and the Tusk is nearby as well. He definitely just snowballed into an Ice Shards, and it's a very easy kill on Shadow Fiend if the support isn't there. They want another one.
Yeah, I mean, G's moving back in. The slow's going to connect onto Dendi. They're going to try and run this one down. There's going to be the TP in from Seneko, and he's going to be able to disrupt the Tusk, holding him back. Dendi will be able to get the salve off. And it looks like Dendi should just be able to get away here. Yeah, G running a little bit low on mana. Won't be able to chase that one down any further. But we're seeing the vulnerability of the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane at the moment against this Tusk-Lesh duo.
I do think, though, Lil was a tiny bit off on his Ice Shards, which is a bit unfortunate, because I think they might have been able to kill him either way. But Seneko was in good position at the proper disruption to make sure that he saved his mid. That is definitely the play in this case. Lift up here.
Funnick. Well,
he's not going to blink.
Yeah, the silence is going to kick in, and there's no way that he can escape. Another kill on this top lane for VP. And I gotta say, Illidan, he's gonna be very, very happy with the amount of intelligence he's stealing just 3 minutes into the game.
Having +6 cent this early, that's insane. That's another Robe of the Magi, basically.
He might get more as well. Icestyle's gonna get caught up in the Ice Shard. They're gonna go straight in here with a Snowball. There will be the Shallow Grave buying some time for the Dazzle. A TP reaction coming in as Funnick will be able to find Lil there. And Artstyle is able to keep himself intact, has the salve as well. So very nice rotation there from Funnick to save the Dazzle.
Well, all this support rotation basically means that Phobos is getting a ton of experience in the bottom lane. No supports there any longer to try to zone him out. Anytime there's action on that top lane, there's always the opportunity for G to get a solo kill on mid. And he's going to get more and more ahead. Dendi is going to be forced to Bottle Crow. I'm not sure if he's going to have good rune control right now. I think they could secure top rune. But G, he's always aggressively positioned. He wants to make sure that he's taking everything away that he can from the enemy mid. And as soon as Low comes back, that Shadow Fiend is just in so much danger.
Well, Seneko's found this invis rune. He's going to grab it, but there was a Radiant Ward up there, so the side of VP know exactly what's up. And the TP back up to the top lane there from FNG just to provide Illidan a bit of safety. Seneko is going to come around here with the wraparound. They want to go for it, but the Sentry Ward's been dropped. VP, they're prepared for it. They saw it happen, and they're ready to try and find themselves another kill. There will be a disruption. That's going to protect Seneko for a little bit, but no, the Ice Shards fly through. They still get the kill there, VP. And these rotations and obviously that awareness and preparation there for the Invis gank, very nicely pulled off by Virtus.Pro. And
Talk
8
about
intel.
A very unfortunate timing to walk up there. He just placed that sentry. Actually, he didn't even mean that. He just wanted the D-ward. That was very unfortunate. So. Yeah, everything considered, great early game for VP. And again, this is also considering the fact that their team fight in mid-game is insane. You're going to see disruption here mid.
They want to go for it, but Na'Vi, they need to be careful because there's a wraparound actually coming from VPG, getting low. You might actually be able to escape from this one, and it might be Na'Vi off the back foot. Here we go with a snowball onto Seneko. They're trying to find this split earth. They won't get it. Seneko gets himself just back up to the high ground. Gets very low there to the Lightning Storm spam. And top lane, Illidan, they might lose him, and they do now. This time, Artstyle and Funnick making the better action there for the side of Na'Vi happen, and the silencer will be taken down. 5 for 4 at the moment, still favouring VP, but Na'Vi, they're certainly ready for the action this game.
Once again, a little bit off with the ice shards there. Needs to shake off that funk, start landing some spells here so we can make sure he secure kills. They might have been able to even kill Dendi there if he landed a proper block, but unfortunately they're not going to get anything for that exchange. They will lose their core. I don't think Illidan's going to suffer too much for it though. He's still doing more than okay. He's got he's been involved in 4 kills of the 5 for his team. And I'm pretty sure he also... No, FNG got first blood, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So, I don't know. It's not too bad of a start anymore for VP. It was really good. The one downside, though, is that they only really have one person farming a lot. And that's going to be the Lesh. Whereas Juggernaut is pretty much free farming. Funnick, even in that kind of rough situation he's died 2 times, he's still out farming the Silencer. And then Shadow Fiend is still getting okay farm, even though he's being heavily pressured. And Shadow Fiend can always recover very quickly inside the woods, which his team has been nice enough to stack for him. So I think Na'Vi are going to be fine too.
Indeed, Dendi being able to recover there from the last hit deficit that he was finding himself in against G. And yeah, the fact that Vost entirely free farm, and to the side of VP, do they need to do something about this Juggernaut, or do you think we might kind of see what they did last game against Vost, where they just looked for the pressure elsewhere and looked to fight the fights against arguably weaker heroes on the side of Na'Vi?
I think they can kill him once they get global, because they can like snowball, maybe catch him out before he spins, and then global on top of that, and then you can kill him without him being able to use Omni Slash. But I also think it's very valid to just ignore him completely, because you already have Stampede on Phobos, so if you ever find yourself in a position where that Juggernaut wants to initiate, you can just run, or you can also counter-initiate with your own team. So I don't think the Jug is super scary for VP right now, but you will eventually have to address it. Like, he is free farming. So right now, I think VP are more concerned about taking control of Navi's woods and making sure that Dendi doesn't recover.
Indeed. Well, VP, they might actually go for a movement into the woods here. We're seeing the group of the 3 of them just controlling the pull count, just looking to keep that top lane pushed in as far as possible. And here we go, wrapping around towards the mid lane here. Taking a long walk, there's no dire vision up here in this jungle, so they're going to be able to do this with Na'Vi being unaware. And of course, with the snowball, they've got a massive potential to get themselves in close and personal. Phobos, of course, on the Centaur has that stomp as well. But Artstar, it's just out of range. They don't quite know where the side of Na'Vi is. And well, if Artstar reveals himself now, which he has done, he could be in trouble if they decide to move in, and they are going to. But Artstar, Spider Sense, Stingle, and that ward now there just on the lower ground, revealing the side of VP just coming down from the high ground.
That could have been really bad for Na'Vi if anyone got caught out, because they have Global and Stampede now at their disposal, so both of those spells pretty much ensure a dead hero. There is just nothing that Na'Vi would be able to do to save him at this point. And you can tell by their posturing that they realize the team fight from VP is just nuts, and that's what they're going to be looking for during this mid-game. So I like the fact that Na'Vi are playing a bit more defensive. Even Funnick, on a hero with an escape mechanism, is not willing to show, even though creeps are dying pretty much under his tower. He realizes how scary it is right now.
Again, kind of 8.5 minutes in, we've reached a point where both teams, well, VP more so, looking for a lot of action and not necessarily finding it here, so it's giving space for Vost still. G is still farming up very nicely on the Leshrac. He's top of the net worth board at this moment in time, and with the point booster, of course, looking to work on his way towards that Bloodstone. Still, Na'Vi, they've sent an extra few heroes down here to join her Vost. Maybe see if they can bait something out. They've dropped the ward here behind the tower, so they're ready to try and counteract a TP reaction from the side of VP if VP do decide to go for it. Phobos and FNG just sitting out in the tree line and maybe moving in, but there are 3 heroes here. Vosty's got Omni Slash available, and this could be a tricky fight here for the side of VP. Seneko will spot out the Centaur. He is going to be able to find the disruption. Arstar moving in, and they get the sloth. Oh no, they can't. It's just going to be the illusions of the heal coming out. It's not going to phase Phobos too much, as they will be able to disengage. And just skipping out the creeps here as well, Na'Vi on this bottom lane. They really want to try and force some action down here.
I think they just realized that there are people camping top right now. Like, Funnick is playing so passive. They have to know he's there. He's going to blink forward now, though.
Oh, and here with the global silence, and now the snowball coming onto Funnick. If they got the damage to bring him down, it's got to get the second silence coming through. There will be the shallow grave from Artstyle again, making the plays, keeping his team alive. Illidan's going to have to ward this one off as he's incredibly low. He actually wants to come back in, but Sonic turning around there. Funnick with the Sonic wave, in fact, sorry, and Lil getting low as well. They might find a second kill as Lil heading into the sidelines. It looks like they'll find him also, and Na'Vi taking 3 kills there across the board as they also kill Rubik on the bottom lane with what I can imagine was Havos there with the Omni Slash.
I'm a bit surprised that Phobos held on to his Stampede throughout that entire engagement. They could have so easily just ran away. You just pop Stampede, you run out of harm's way. Sure, maybe they tower dive you bottom, but at the very least you save your core. I don't know. I think that was a little bit questionable that he didn't ult for that. But maybe they were saying that they didn't want him to. It's very possible that they opted to not do it just so they wouldn't lose their tier 1 in the safe lane. Because there was a high likelihood that they would have dove had they seen a Stampede used. But either way, I don't know. That was not the play coming out from Virtus.Pro, and the silence, unfortunately, not lasting long enough to be able to kill Funnick before that grave came out.
Oh, Havos played for him just in time to avoid the Who Stomp. Illidan did come in as well, and he's going to be lucky enough to get himself away. Saneko again, he's got himself an Invis room, moving on to the top lane towards FNG, and here we go with the boosted damage as well. Stampede will come out this time, trying to save the Rubik, but it might not be enough of the poison damage ticking through. He should be able to find the kill, and it will do indeed there. Funnick able to find the kill, and why do they find anything more here? Disruption holding back G here on the left track. He's going to continue to move up. He's not going to be able to catch anyone out there on the side of Na'Vi, and well, we saw the Stampede come out, but at that time it was just in vain, and VP not able to find anything with it.
And that one was not even... You couldn't even save him. Like, there was nothing you could do. He was already soul catchered, and he had dagger on anyway, and FNG doesn't have much health in the first place. Only has 600 to boot, but it's not really the cleanest of early games from VP. They do still have the highest farmer, though. G is kind of the saving grace. He's 1-0 and he's sitting on top of 81 CS at 11.5 minutes, so his Bloodstone timing is still going to be around that 15-16 minute mark that we see him so often hit. And I'm kind of hoping when he starts contributing to these team fights that things start turning around for VP, because they were looking really good at first, but Na'Vi have adapted very well to the style that VP are playing in this game. They're always sitting one behind another. They're never letting one of their cores get caught out alone, and that's pretty much how you have to play against these heroes.
He's going to get caught out by the disruption here. 3 months all of a sudden, Na'Vi going, but the global silence coming out. Maybe VP want to try and turn this one. The glaze flying through onto Havos, bringing him low, and he will pop. Illidan might be able to find Sneko as well. Sneko pops the charges. It won't be enough. Double kill for the silencer. Funnick will just be able to get the blink out, but this time VP using the globals very nicely to find themselves 2 kills, and more intel there, of course, for Illidan here on this silencer.
Illidan does so much damage. Like, just, here comes the snowball.
Oh, they want to continue this fight. Sonic Wave, they're coming through for Funny, catching them both out. Artstyle's there, but he's got this shallow grave. They'll finally off the back of this. G now moving in, tag teaming him, and we'll find the lightning storm and the split of 1 to 2. And look at the pulse nova damage. It's bringing Denny low. He'll find himself 1 kill. He's going to find Funnick. He's going to find Artstyle. Maybe not the heal. Buying Artstyle sometime. The lightning storm finally flies through. G there with a triple kill, turning up to the fight and just destroying Na'Vi. The question is, can they kill him? He'll use the split of there to clear out the tree line, be able to get himself repolarized as well. Havos move through. He's got the Omni Slash. He's going to be enough. Yes, it is. Havos will find the Leshrac kill off the back of it. And I mean, that is a dominating streak amount of gold going towards the Jug, but still, the fact that G was just able to waltz in and get himself a triple kill, Andy.
I mean, that's typical G, right? He's like, all right, don't worry, I'm here. I'm going to save everybody. It's fine. I'll just kill their entire team on my own. You guys did your best, but now it's my turn. But honestly, if they didn't kill him there, it would have been a total disaster for Na'Vi. Like, thankfully, Havos comes in. He gets the cleanup. He got like 700 plus gold for that kill, something crazy like that. So he'll be pretty pleased with that cleanup job. And now he also is level 11, so he's got level 2 Omni. And Lil, in the meantime, he's not even level 6 yet. Walrus Punch is very, very good to have against some of these heroes, especially Juggernaut, who you can stop TPing when he has that magic immunity available. But I think Na'Vi are still in pretty good shape. Their Shadow Fiend is working his way towards straight BKB. Bottom lane,
Havos, it's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's got Artstyle there with him. And he will be able to Blade Fury away from that. But yeah, Bloodstone complete on G. 13 minutes or so into the game. Very, very respectable timing there for the Lesh. And they're going to smoke up straight away here, FNG and G. See if they can find some action. Who are they going to look for? There's pings coming around towards the top rune. It's about to hit 14 minutes. They're going to hope that Na'Vi are going to look for it. And they're going to be right here. Funnick coming in. Can they catch him out? Yeah, they've got the telekinesis. Global Sight's being used as well. And Funnick just melting there to the power of both the Rubik and the Leshrac.
A very nice global reaction timing as well, just to be safe. Like, it's not bad using a global just to get a pick when you know that you're in a pretty good position on the map right now, which VP definitely are. And Illidan, he's got that spider sense. He is running out of here.
Havos going forward. He is taking a hell of a lot of damage. He's trying to do his best to turn it. Maybe find a kill, but it's not going to be the case as Na'Vi find Illidan Storm Rage there.
That was another time where I feel like you could have just stampeded.
FNG, they might want to try and turn this, but this could be a risky one for the side of VP. They have got the snowball onto Havos, but he's just going to turn around here with the Blade Fury. He's going to TP himself out as G's turned up, and Na'Vi realize they don't want to fight against his Leshrac. Level 11 here with the Pulse Nova moving in onto Artstar there with the Lightning Storm slow. Artstar getting caught out by the Split Earth. They'll bring down the Dazzle. And it looks like the rest of Na'Vi will be able to get themselves safely out there.
Well, on the bright side, even though they lose the core, they trade 1 for 1. Not an ideal trade for VP, but they also have the Blink Dagger now on full boss, which means the next couple of engagements could be really huge for them. They don't have to use Stampede to get in anymore. They can just use the Blink Dagger with a stun on top of the global, and then maybe use the Stampede to either chase down or use the Stampede to disengage if they absolutely need to. And they've done that so far, I think, at least one time. But full boss really likes holding on to his ultimate. It seems like he doesn't like using it to save people. He only wants to use it to secure kills, which is okay. I mean, VP are a very aggressive team by nature, but I feel there, like, you can just Stampede and run away, and you probably save Illidan, like 100%.
Maybe they can secure a kill here. We're seeing the smokes up and the rune spot. Heading towards the mid lane. Phobos, he wants to reveal his blinking style and catch someone out. A lot of pings coming out, though, from the side, and maybe Na'Vi are aware of this one. Keeping themselves safely behind the tier 1, and it looks like it's going to be hard for VP to find anything with this unless Dandy comes out for the farm. And going to move here between the tier 1 and the tier 2, just seeing if they can catch him out, and they're going to dive and look for Dandy here on the Shadow Fiend. They haven't got vision of him. He's just going to keep walking his way back up towards the secret shop. Now they're spotted. Yeah, the Ice Shot Snap is going to trap Havos, but they're not able to go for it, but they do manage to create the space there needed to find the tier 1 in the mid lane.
That's actually the first tower of the game. At 16 minutes. Like, there have been 12 kills for VP, 11 for Na'Vi. Another tower getting really low, so I guess this will be the second one to drop, but thankfully G's going to be able to deny that for the side of Virtus.Pro. Kind of surprising, actually, that only one tower has dropped up until this point, but I guess that kind of favors Na'Vi. They have kind of a triple core thing going on. They got Juggernaut, Shadow Fiend, Queen. All these heroes transition very well into the later stages of the game. And again, they have a multitude of defensive utilities at their disposal. And VP now, seeming like they want to push in a tower of their own again, and it looks to be a bit of a trade. Teleport coming in.
Indeed, Telekinesis, Global Silence. They want to try and find Havos off the back of this, and this time with the Walrus Punch holding him in place, they'll bring down the Juggernaut. And G also, meanwhile, well, he's killing people. Takes down the Shadow Demon there on the bottom lane with the help of Phobos, almost certainly using the Blink Initiation to get themselves that kill, and they'll also find themselves a tier 1 here on the bottom lane. Maybe look to move in for more here. Phobos going forward. He's going to blink forward. He's going to catch Artstar out with a Hoostomp. The double edge is too much damage. G finding the kill there with a Split Earth. A double kill for this Leshrac. And I've got to be honest, that Andy G is just doing so much work this game.
I mean, is there a game where he doesn't do a lot of work? That's just kind of what you expect from him at this point. I don't think I've seen a single game where he's been completely shut down. Like, sometimes he has bad early games, but that's usually just because he gets ganked a lot, and then he comes back into the game with a couple of huge plays, and then he's back just to, like, highest net worth. That's just standard for me. But the way the game's going right now, I think that Na'Vi, in the laning phase, they probably didn't get quite as much as they were hoping for at G bottom.
He wants to find this G kill. He's got Funnick helping him out as well, but Phobos waiting from the sidelines, has the blink, he's got the Hoostomp, he's going to put the Stampede straight onto Funnick. Will bring down, but now the Omni Slash, it finds G. Phobos will be able to control the verse there with the Hoostomp. Little's coming in as well. Maybe they could try and go back on this one, VP, if they find the Ice Shards, and they will there. Question is, does he want to use the Snowball? He's chasing this one down. He has also got Illidan moving in on the Silencer as well if they want to continue this fight, VP. But now with the ultimate from Shadow Demon holding back the Tusk, Tusk will now put the Snowball. Linking forward, Phobos going onto the voice, but just in time, the defensive disruption, the Shallow Grave as well, keeping the Juggernaut fine. VP unable to find the kill. They might actually lose Lil, and they will indeed. They're going to lose Lil. Juggernaut does end up dropping there as Illidan moves in, and Illidan, he wants to find more. Going for Artstar with the double edge from Phobos. They find themselves one, and the amount of pure damage that Illidan's doing is too much for Denny to hang around. He has to create himself a bit of distance between the two, backs himself up. Illidan, he might want to go back in. G sets this one up with the newly found Your Scepter, and here we go. Split off onto Seneko with the Lightning Storm span and the Pulse Nova. It's just too much. They might even find Denny here as well. Denny looking for the Requiem, will bring down the Centaur. Now Denny's got the BKB just delivered out, pops it, wants to find G here with the raises. G will simply deny himself with the Bloodstone there, does not want to fight up against this Shadow Fiend. And what a mess of a fight there, Draskell.
That was a little bit of Benny Hill stuff going on there, for sure. But I still got to say, the mass blink initiation from the Centaur over and over again. What did he blink that fight like 3 or 4 times? Like, just goes in, gets a stomp, gets a kill. Goes in, gets a stomp, gets a kill. And I would still say that those Juggernaut ulti bounces were pretty unlucky for VP. I think most of the slashes actually hit the Leshrac in the first place. So when they were there, they tried to split it between the two of them. Like, Phobos comes in, he's like, okay, I'll Stampede, we'll try to run away when the Omni Slash is going off. And then, unfortunately, it didn't work out. But he comes back in, still ends up getting a handful of kills. And he takes away the opportunity to kill him again by just denying himself. And I want to mention, it's 19.5 minutes in. He has a Bloodstone, a full Yules, and an Ogre Club. That is a ridiculous amount of farm at sub 20 minutes. Like, I don't understand how he can consistently have like this level of item progression. But in the meantime, as we were talking about that, Na'Vi, they do get Roshan, which is very big for them. I think that because of the fact that VP has such a huge teamfight advantage, if you don't have Roshan, you almost stand no chance of winning a direct 5-on-5. But now, maybe with the utilization of that Aegis, they can.
Yeah, talking about VP and their teamfight potential, here we go with the Global Silence straight onto us. They want to remove the Dazzle so we can't save anyone, and they'll do exactly that. The question is, can they find anything else here? It doesn't look like we'll be able to, as Na'Vi do back themselves out. Fortification coming out to protect this tier 2, but VP will almost certainly stick around here, trying to look for some severe structural damage, and they just find the Dazzle, but it does give them the space to continue the push here in the mid. 20 minutes in as well.
It's just a showcase of, again, VP's 5-man. Like, I don't know if Na'Vi ever want to fight 5 versus 5. But it's also kind of difficult to rat against them, too, because you have to worry about Tusk initiation, you also have Stampede, and you have Blink Centaur. So I'm curious as how Na'Vi are going to end up playing this out, because the only one who is kind of safe from all of this is probably Havos, because he can just spin and try to TP away, assuming that Lil has already used Walrus Punch. But if he hasn't, then you could still be in some trouble. I'm thinking right now, trying to turtle it out is probably one of the best options until your Juggernaut gets to a point where he can kill a lot inside of the Omni Slash itself and doesn't have to rely on right-clicking. Because if he has to go back for an item like BKB, I don't think it's going to be one of those BKBs that allows him to really kill anyone. He's going to pop it, and I think if we're going to see the same build on Illidan, he's probably going to go for like a Hex and an Assault Cuirass, which makes him super tanky. And then if you go BKB for that, or that kind of build for Havos, you're not going to deal enough damage. So I'm curious. Like, I really want to know what he's going to do.
I mean, talking about item builds, looking at Illidan, he's picked up the Ultimate Orb now on top of the Aetos. You casted his game the other day. What does he tend to go for here with this Ultimate Orb? Is it straight up Scythe of Vice without actually?
Yeah, I think it's just Hex.
Yeah.
Being able to Hex is like just a guaranteed kill. Gives you a ton of int on top of that, so you're going to be hitting really hard. He has 20 stolen intelligence, by the way, at 21 minutes in. So he is already hitting like an absolute monster. Plus 116, I want to say, the overall damage from just the Glaives of Wisdom in general. And then once he gets that Hex up, he can go back for Assault Cuirass to help counteract that Shadow Fiend. Presence of the Dark Lord, he can wake his way towards BKB as well if he wants. But BKB doesn't seem like a super necessary item. It's not bad. But
moving in here onto Dendi. Phobos blinking forward. Won't be able to find the Hooslock because Dendi's there with the timing of the BKB. And now with the Requiem, they might try and turn this one art style moving forward, but Lil will simply throw out the Ice Shards. The question is, who wants to continue the fight? Looks like it's VP stampeding forward. They know Dendi's going to not have the BKB now, and they're going to initiate on this now with the Global Silence. With the Telekinesis, they should be able to find Dendi, and they will do indeed. They bring down the Shadow Fiend. Havos moving forward. He's got the Omni Slash, but the Walrus Punch coming through. He does enough damage to bring down the Tusk. He's got the Aegis. He's going to be the way for round 2, but Funny getting low. There'll be the defensive destruction from Snako, but they've lost art style. They've lost Funny because FNG picks himself with a double kill. Havos does get a double kill in return. We'll have to spin just in time to stop the stun coming out from Phobos, but Phobos is going to have to blink, and they might very well find this Juggernaut here as well as head up to high ground. The poison coming through will make it a little bit harder to catch out this Juggernaut, but now here we go, blinking forward. Can't quite get in range for the stun, and Havos is going to be very lucky to get away with his life there. But unfortunately for the side of Na'Vi, the same can't be said around his team fights, and what a fight for the side of VP.
I just think VP's mid game is too strong. Like, you can't contest it. Like, in 5 versus 5, Global and Stampede just win you the engagement. In that fight, Dendi actually got his BKB forced out immediately, so he BKBs and Requiems in a defensive way to try to get himself to safety, but when the BKB runs out, the Global Silence actually just comes off cooldown for Illidan in the nick of time, so they can go back in with a Stampede, and then they have Global on top of that to just guarantee that Dendi dies. There's absolutely nothing his team can do to save him in that case. No one has Manta, no one else has BKB on the team at all yet. It's just dead. You cannot counterplay that right now with Navi's heroes. So I'm kind of wondering, again, what the backup plan is. Because in the late game, yeah, you have Shadow Fiend, you have Juggernaut, you have Queen. Can you actually get that far? It's going to be holding out right now for Na'Vi. Can they manage to get another Roshan? Because I think if VP get it, they probably just go base.
Let's see if that's the case, because VP, they want to fight. They're on the side of Na'Vi's map, and It's just Na'Vi at the moment having to be very careful about where they move. Dendy's just clearing out the Ancients here. Drawings coming out from the side of VP across the jungle. Question is, do they want to lead in there? They are just going to head down to the bottom and maybe just play a bit. I mean, what's the game plan here for VP? Do they need to keep looking for fights, or are they kind of fairly confident taking it a little bit later anyway because of the lead that they've created so far?
They could play either style. If you want to just try to control the map, there is a possibility to do that. And then you can also do the route of just fighting non-stop whenever you have Global and Stampede up, because that just ensures, we just win. You know, 2 R buttons, we run at them really fast, they can't do anything, and they die. And Teleport's coming in here top.
FNG 4 starting forward. We'll be able to find the telekinesis now with the stolen dagger onto Sineko. It's going to be Phobos blinking forward. He's actually looking for more action. With a split earth onto Sineko, they bring down the Shadow Demon. They weren't quite able to find Funnick there as he was able to escape on the Quap. And he's got the BKB now finished here on the Queen of Pain. And how's Avos looking? Yeah, he's got his BKB as well. So we're seeing Na'Vi get his BKBs online. Obviously, Dendy already has his, so maybe they will be able to fight a little bit better into this kind of full 5-on-5 engagement with all the globals coming out from VP.
The BKB is a necessary evil for Havost. I mean, obviously you don't want to have to buy it this early because it takes away a lot from damage outputs you're going to have, but I think it actually almost is necessary just to be able to not get owned by Global Silence. And that's one thing that Na'Vi have going for them, since their cores are still farming at a very good rate. Their item progression still remains pretty consistent. It's not like they're getting outfought and outfarmed, it's just they're getting outfought. So VP have the significantly better team fight, and now Na'Vi are just saying, okay, we're going to avoid the situation that we know that we can't deal with, and we're going to make sure that our cores are going to continue to get those items so that in the late game we still have a shot. Because going high ground, again, is still going to be the ultimate test for VP's lineup. They only have, well, I guess 2 of their heroes are pretty good at going high ground, and the rest of their potential is just fighting and then trying to go for picks into a high ground push.
Snowball spread away from Lil. They're going to go for Dendy here. They've had the TP back from G, and VP, they might look to fight. Votes popping the BKB. He's going to try and go for it, but the slow for the Walrus Punch holding him down, and now Illidan chasing him with these glaives ticking through. There'll be the art star coming in to buy him some time here to allow him to get the Onyx Slash up, but the Yules from G get another fight pretty much in its entirety. G stays alive. He's not going to die here. He's able to kill the Juggernaut. There's 2 heroes down on the side of Na'Vi, and the rest have to retreat, and they just can't kill the Leshrac.
Yeah, that feeling when you have to BKB and run away. Like you just BKB and you just haul it and you try to get out of harm's way. But unfortunately for Havost, it's not going to work out. They're going to lose 2 there. Also lost a Dazzle in the process. So VP continually controlling this mid game. I really feel like if the pace of the game ends up this way and they get caught out, that's like the worst case scenario. If they're split pushing and they're forcing some teleport reactions, that's actually really good for Na'Vi. That's what they need to do. They need to try to buy that time until their core is enough to stand on their own feet. But for now, VP have such a huge lead when it comes to fighting that Na'Vi have to try their best to avoid them.
And here we go. Your Scepter's going to just be used on the illusions here, and they're going to realize that straight away, so they're not going to throw anything more out here. Artstyle just dropping the weave and maybe preparing for a fight if Na'Vi can join it. They're still missing Havost though for a few seconds here on the Juggernaut. And he
Stolen weave is really big, by the way. Stolen weave is so good to counteract the weave that's already been put on the team.
Maybe with that VP, they're going to double back on this one. They are. They're going to smoke up. They're going to see if anyone on the side of Na'Vi comes out. They can have that potential there for a jump, but Na'Vi are going to move towards the mid lane. They haven't been able to get any kind of vision, of course, in the base yet, the side of PC. Going to move towards mid. Na'Vi themselves actually smoked up here. It's going to be a bit of a smoke-on-smoke engagement. It's a question of who can get that jump on who.
They should actually wait. The global's up in 20 seconds. There's actually no reason to go right now. They should wait for Illidan's ulti. Like, there's no reason to give Na'Vi a chance to win a fight because you're getting too greedy and you just go in without all of your tools available to you.
Na'Vi, I mean, they're smoking aggressively around it. They're not going to find anyone, but they have got the creep wave momentum. They'll be able to try and go for a tier 2, but at the same time, as soon as VP realize that, I wouldn't be surprised if they just step on the pressure here on the bottom lane and look to try and break the base of Na'Vi.
That's very possible, and forcing Na'Vi back is a really good thing for VP as well. You can use the Stampede also to disengage. It doesn't just have to be a tool for fighting. You can also use it to run and make sure that you just go back to the map control we had earlier, but they just want to go in.
Yeah, Mule Scepter onto Dazzle here. They'll be able to catch him out, and now with the control, the Global Silence coming out, they'll blow up the Dazzle here, and they'll look to just continue to fight. Funnick does pop the BKB and the Sonic Wave, throwing it out, and now with the Stampede, VP deciding whether they want to stick around for this one. The BKBs have come out from Havost and Dendy as well, so it looks like VP will wait this one out and maybe look to re-engage after they've come off And they're using, well, here we go, Lil hanging around, and they're looking to go straight back in. Indeed, as soon as the BKB is down, Blade Fury will come out with the Warriors Punch, of course, going through that immunity with the slow as well. Demonic Purge being thrown down onto Lil, but G, he's looking for work, and he's going to find it here. The buyback's been forced out by Artstyle. They're bringing them low. Havost is going to get a sized up now from Illidan, who's literally just picked up that item, and now the stolen Omni Slash from FNG there, bringing down Havost, giving him a taste of his own medicine, and Artstyle will fall as well. It's a double kill for G. Denny's trying to do what he can here from the sidelines with the Requiem. But the buyback's being forced out again from Na'Vi, but VP, they're just ready to fight each and every time, and Na'Vi just can't seem to come out on top.
That was the closest Na'Vi actually came to winning a real engagement, because nothing VP had was up anymore. Like, they used the global silence to get the kill onto Artstyle, and then they run away with Stampede. So both of their big teamfight ultis are down, and they still can't win the fight. Now granted, a couple of them BKB'd preemptively. Like, Funnick BKB'd to get some damage out. That one was actually okay. But Dendi and Havost both BKB'd maybe a little bit too soon, hoping that Funnick could get in range to catch somebody, and it didn't end up happening that way. So then they walk up high ground, their BKBs run out, and then VP are just ready to re-engage. And FNG played that like a boss. Like, he gets the blink away to stop the Omni Slash damage of Havost in the first place, and he even drags it out.
He's going to walk in. They know that they're doing Roshan. Is the question who can come out on top, but they don't have the global silence available. BKBs come out from Funnick, and they will find the kill onto Seneko first. Denny's trying to do what he can with the punches, being a little low, but the telekinesis now from FNG holding him in place. G's still alive, taking a fair bit from Havost. Havost trying to run into this one. He'll go down, but he has got the Aegis. They've lost Dendi. They haven't got Seneko. And now the full lineup of VP. They're ready to go for round 2 on Havost. He's got the BKB. Will try and do what he can. Vobos, meanwhile, picking off Artstyle onto the Dazzle. Funnick's got a blink away, and Havost just trying to find a kill. The silence onto Funnick, and GG's just going to get called 30 minutes in. VP again, just steamrolling Na'Vi.
An insane mid-game draft coming out from Virtus.Pro. There was just no answer to the sheer team fight that they had. They didn't have really good heroes for being able to rat against the Blink Initiation and the Tusk, so they were kind of forced in a situation where they get caught out multiple times. The Global Silence and the Stampede combination proved to be too much, even for two very defensive supports. Like, that Shadow Demon Dazzle, they did not have much impact, and it's not even really their fault. It's just the nature of the